out, Lord. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. So, really quick, um, I wanted to share this with you because my new director at this new company that I'm working for, she spoke prophetically into me yesterday, and she didn't even know that she was speaking prophetically to me, right? And me and her, we just click. Like she's great. She has like this spunky personality. We just click, right? She's the director over the account management team, and she's my manager, so I report to her. Um, but we were talking yesterday and she just spoke and she didn't know that she was speaking prophetically, but I caught it. So I want to share this with you guys because it really all ties into what God has been having me speak about as far as Him opening doors for you, Him bringing divine connections together, bringing restorations together. And sometimes we seem to feel like when He's bringing restorations or even new connections or new opportunities, we feel like we have to be something other than who we are. Like we feel like we need to change our personality to really to gain this connection, right? We feel like we need to do things like that, but you don't. All you need to do is walk through the door and be authentically yourself, because that's what's going to draw these people into you. That's what they're going to look at. Okay. That's what's going to keep them in the position that God is taking them to in order for them to be divinely connected to you. And I pray that this is making sense. You don't have to be anything other than who you are, especially people that God are restoring relationships to, right? A lot of the times when you haven't spoken to someone in a long time, you feel like when you finally meet them, you have to be some huge, like, help me word this, Lord. And I have my notes on my computer, so I'm going to read the notes to you that go with this word because I wanted to get my words together. Um, but you feel like you have to be this amazing person from the person that they used to know. So I need to be this way instead of the way that I was back then. I need them to see the huge change. Okay. You don't have to try to manipulate this connection. You don't have to try to drag this connection in the direction that it's supposed to go in. God's favor has already went before you. You simply just have to be yourself. All you have to do is be. That's it. Just be. Don't try to hype yourself up or dim yourself in certain areas because maybe in the past this person thought you were too loud or too happy or too giddy or too spunky, and now as God is restoring you to this person, or even if it's a new connection, because people have disliked you in the past for the way that you were back then and that you still are, you feel like as He brings these new connections, well, let me act like this type of person because back then those people didn't like these qualities. So in order for me to really draw this person in, let me act this way, right? Or if it's a restoration, you're like, okay, this person didn't like me back then. They didn't like these things about me, these quirks about me, right? So let me try to be this type of person because if God is bringing it back, I need to be different so that I can keep it. No, you just simply need to be yourself, because that's what these people are going to recognize. When God wants a person to see you a certain way, He changes their vision. He changes their lenses. He changes their perspective, right? So they're going to see you exactly how He wants them to see you. And God always wants you to be authentic in everything that you do. He created you just the way you are for a purpose. None of us are just alike for a purpose. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. God created you like you are for a reason. Okay. And don't let that fall by the wayside because you feel like you need to stretch this connection to get it to where it needs to be. The connections are already done. God has already went before you. Simply be yourself, because by you not being yourself, you may miss these connections. You may close these doors yourself because you're pretending to be something that you're not. So let me actually share this experience with you guys, and then I'm going to Hold on, guys. Okay. Then I'm going to read what the Lord placed on my heart for this specific word. And I'm going to give you your day back, but I pray that this blesses whoever it's for. So yesterday, I was meeting for this whole week. I've been meeting with several different people within this new organization that I'm working with. I've met with VPs, directors, managers of different departments just to get a feel for what they actually do, who they are, right? Why I need to communicate with these people if necessary, right? A lot of people that I met with over the course of the last couple of days, I won't have to speak to them that much in my role, but it's always good to know who a person is, what they do in the company, because there may come a time where I need to reach out for them to do something for me, and I need to know who these people are, right? So lots of introductions have taken place since Monday, which was when I started. But yesterday I met with our patient engagement manager, right? So she's over a team of her own, and they work with the patients just to engage them into the program, right? To explain our program to them and so forth, right? And she was such a nice lady. I got off of my meeting with her and I went back on a meeting with my director, my manager. And my manager was like, I shouldn't tell you this. She's like, but I'm going to tell you anyway. She's like, the person you just met, who's the patient engagement manager, she's like, amazing person. She's like, she actually applied for the position that you have right now. She was an internal applicant. Like, this role would have been a promotion for her. She's already a manager. She's the patient engagement manager, but this account manager position is a position higher than hers. So this would have been a promotion for her, and she really wanted this role. And my manager looks at me on the screen and she's like, but she didn't have the personality for it. She's like, she's very sweet and we love her here. She does a great job. She's like, but she wasn't what I was looking for. She said, when I posted for this position, I had specific requirements, right? She had specific requirements that she was looking for and that she wanted, right? And she wasn't going to take less than what she knew she needed for the person to have in this role. And she said it wasn't just a background of account management, healthcare, and so forth. She says a lot of people have that. She said, but I was looking for a person with personality. She said, in this role, you're speaking to doctors and physicians. She's like, you're responsible. She's like, as an account manager, you're managing all of our small business accounts. So all of our business accounts are physicians, surgeons, high-level healthcare professionals. So every quarter, it's my job to meet with them and go over the reports with them, what we've done for their patients, what the program has been like over the course of the past few months for their patients, who we engaged with, and so forth. Give them an update on what we've been doing, right? And she's like, I needed someone that was spunky, that was excited. She's like, that had a big personality. She said, because anybody that had a flatline personality and they were just knowledgeable and, well put together and they, they spoke properly, but didn't have the personality. She's like, the doctors will not engage in that type of conversation. She's like, a doctor, for something to catch their attention, she's like, it needs to have some excitement about it. She's like, so if you just jump on a Zoom meeting with them and you're presenting and you're just mellow and you have this same little monotone voice, and she's like, you're just there, no one's going to listen to that. She's like, but when I interviewed you, she said, immediately you came with personality. She's like, you had so much spunk. She said, you smiled a lot, you laughed a lot. She's like, you were telling me things that we can do in this role and you didn't even have the role. She said, so I knew that you were creative. She said, but your personality was everything. She's like, I was sold on your personality. She said, we posted this role and within 4 hours, we had over 200 applicants. She's like, out of those 200 applicants, 200 plus applicants, she's like, we reviewed the resumes and she's like, we chose 4 people. She's like, out of the 4 people that were sent over to me by HR, she's like, I chose to interview 2 of those people. And she said, out of the 2 people, she's like, I didn't want any of those people. She's like, because the personality did not match. She said, so when they sent you over your information over to me, and they were telling me, the people, the VPs that had interviewed me and HR that had also interviewed me, she's like, everybody liked you. And she's like, the role you applied for, the coordinator role, which is what I initially wanted because I knew I'd be good at it, but I also knew it would be easy because I've done it before. So I was just like, let me just do something simple. God had other plans. But that's the role that I originally applied for. And they actually gave that to an internal person because at the last minute, someone internally wanted that role. So it was a promotion for them. So they turned me down for that role, even though initially that was going to be the role that was offered to me, right? So when they turned me down for that position and they emailed me like, hey, but we do have this position that we think you'd be great for. She's like, that was because everyone liked your personality. I had interviewed with 4 people, guys, for this coordinator role within the same organization. And everyone, she's like, everyone loved you. She's like, and they just knew that you would be good for the account manager's role. She's like, but I had to be the person that chose you for this role. She's like, I'm the manager of the department. She's like, so they couldn't just hire you for it. She's like, I had the last say on who I wanted to work with when it came to this role. She's like, because I had so many requirements that I was looking for. And she's like, the minute you got on, she's like, I knew it was you. She said, I finished that interview with you. And she said, I reached out to HR and I said, yes, her, don't send me anybody else. This is who I want. Right? She's like, I knew. She's like, because I wanted a set personality. She's like, this could not be given to someone who just spoke very mellow and they were always monotone and they knew what they were talking about, but they were so boring. She's like, no physician is going to listen to you. She's like, we want our clients to be excited about what we do for them and keep them engaged. We want someone that's going to reach out and follow up and they respond back quickly because they like the personality of the person. She's like, I cannot, these were her words, I can't train personality. She's like, I can teach skill. I can teach you how to do a job. She said, but if you don't have the personality for the job, I can't give you a personality. She's like, I can't teach you that. She said, you have to come with that. She said, everybody has their own set personality. And however they act, whatever their personality looks like is fine. She's like, but I can't train personality. She's like, nobody can train personality. You just have to come with it. And she's like, even though the patient engagement manager knows the company's ins and outs, this lady knows how to do everything. This would have been such an easy role for her to transition into because she's already a patient engagement manager. So she knows the fronts and backs of this company. But she's like, her personality would not work, right? So I just wanted to share that with you guys, not to boast on me or my personality. Like, some people think I'm too loud. Some people think I laugh a lot. Some people think I smile too big. Some people think I'm too over the top or whatever they want to call it, but I am simply Christina. Some people know me by Nina. I am simply me. I'm not going to try to be anything that I'm not. I'm simply me, and I'm going to show up as me every single day. The same me you guys see on here. If you ask the people that coach with me through this ministry, they jump on coaching calls and we Zoom together, I'm the exact same way on those calls because I am me. I don't change because of the camera and pressing play. I'm always going to be me. If you ask my best friends, is she like this all the time? They're going to tell you yes. I just called one of my good friends earlier this week. And as soon as she answered the phone, I just started talking and I'm like laughing. And she's like, how are you even like this so early in the morning? Like, but that's just how I am. I don't try to be loud or giddy. It's just who I am. So God is saying, wherever he's taking you, whatever doors he's opening for you, they're looking for you. They're looking for you as you. What they require is exactly what you have. So if you show up and you try to be anything other than who you are, you're going to miss the opportunity because that person is going to overlook you and see you as not what they're looking for. When in fact you're everything that they need. You just chose to change. What if I jumped on this interview and because she's a director and she's, a nice suit top and well put together and all of these things, I just started to conform to what I was seeing on the screen. So instead of being me, I'm quiet and, professional. I'm professional either way, but I'm just more quiet and, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but I'm everything opposite than what I really am. What if I got on there and I'm speaking very eloquently and using all the proper terms and lingo, right? Because I've been in healthcare for over 14 years. So I'm using all the lingo and I know the experience is there. So I'm talking about my background and I'm just, there's no smiles or no teeth showing. I'm just sitting there and I'm just all well put together and poised because I'm looking at how she's sitting and how she is. So let me just conform to what I'm seeing instead of being myself. I would not have this position because that's not what she was looking for. She wanted someone that was knowledgeable, that had experience, that was creative, that was all the things. But her biggest thing was someone who has the personality that she needs for this role. And that's a personality that engages people, a personality that draws people in, a personality that forces the other party to talk because they're just so, this person on the other side of the screen just wheels them in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what she was looking for. So if I got on the screen and I didn't show that, she would have been like, okay, well, she has the experience, but personality is not what I'm looking for. God is opening doors and it requires you to show up as you, even for those that he's bringing relationships to you, romantic relationships. He's already placed in that person's heart exactly what they need to look for. He's placed the desires, what he desires for them to have in their heart. I hope this makes sense because I feel like I'm not getting the words out, but I'm going to read what I have written down because that's going to make more sense. Some people are better at writing than speaking the words. And I feel like I do better when it's written and I'm speaking what I need to say versus just freestyling it. But whatever, it is what it is. I hope you guys are catching this. God has already placed his perspective in their minds. So whatever God wants them to look for when they see you, that's what they're going to look for. God has placed his desires in their heart. And because he placed his desires in their hearts, they've become their desires. So their heart desires a certain type of person. And it fits whatever you are. So if you show up trying to be something that you're not, you're going to cause that door to be closed instead of open to you. You know how we're in a store and they have those automatic doors, right? In order for the door to open to me, I have to walk up to it so that the door is able to feel the presence of a person and it opens that door, right? I don't have to go to the door and tell it everything about me. It simply feels the presence of a person standing in front of it and it opens the door. See yourself as this person and see whatever opportunity or relationship or connection he's bringing as this door. You simply have to show up and your presence is going to speak for you. You don't have to force anything. I don't have to force an automatic door to open for me. I just have to show up and be there. And as soon as I walk in front of that door, it opens up to me. God is saying, just be yourself. Just be yourself so that you don't miss the opportunity. Okay. The Lord is saying, what if the very thing you're trying to hide is what he designed to set you apart? What if the qualities you think are too different, too much, or not enough are the exact things he placed in you so the right people, the right connections, and the right opportunities will recognize you? When we shift from who we truly are out of fear, insecurity, or a desire to fit into expectations, we step out of alignment with the divine plan God has for us. The people meant to recognize us may second guess if we are who they've been praying for. So if you pretend to be something that you're not, this person was expecting you to be you. So you showing up as someone else, now they're asking God, like, is this the person? Like, did I miss the mark? Like, am I looking at the wrong person? Because this isn't what you showed me, Lord, right? The doors meant to open may stay shut because the key was always your authentic self. Adam recognized Eve immediately because she was already created for him, Genesis 2:23. She didn't have to change, she just simply had to be. The same applies to us. Our destiny connections will see us when we stand in who God called us to be. Don't let the pressure to conform cause you to miss what God has set aside for you. Authenticity isn't just about self-expression, it's about divine alignment. Stay true to who God made you to be, and the right people and opportunities will find you. Be who God created you to be and trust that his plan includes people who will recognize and receive you just as you are. And what came to mind was the story of Abraham's servant going to find Rebecca for Isaac, right? And we're going to read it in Genesis 24, verses 12 through 21, NIV. Then he prayed, Lord of my master Abraham, make me successful today and show kindness to my master Abraham. See, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. Notice he said the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water, meaning many women would be in the area that he was going to scout for Isaac's wife in. Okay, many women were going to be there, right? So he says, see, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. So he knew that there would be several options, right? But he just wanted the right one. One was all it took. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let down your jar that I may have a drink, and she says, drink, and I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this, I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. So Abraham's servant is praying to God, and he's saying, when I ask this woman to let down her jar so that I could drink, I want her to say, yes, I can drink, but I also want her to offer water to my camels too. Not just to me. This is how I'm going to know she's the right person. Because she's not only going to offer me water, she's going to offer it to my camels too. Okay. So there were two things that this woman had to do for him to know that she was the one. Okay. Before he had finished praying, Rebecca came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, please give me a little water from your jar. Drink, my lord, she said, and quickly lowered her jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough to drink. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the well to draw more water, and drew enough for his camels. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely. Y'all better catch this. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely. You never know who's watching you because they're trying to see if God is confirming that you're the person. Y'all better catch this. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. Abraham's servant had a specific request for confirmation from God. And if she didn't meet everything that he had prayed for her to have, he would not have chosen her. He knew what he had prayed to God to show him. And if she did not exhibit all of those things, that would have been a lost connection. Rebecca did exactly what he prayed for without even knowing about his prayer. I went in that interview and I gave her exactly what she was looking for, not knowing that that was what my director was looking for this person to have. I was simply being myself. In my mind, I was like, this is either a job for me or it's not. And if it's not, God is going to close the door. And if he does, then it's just not for me, but I'm going to be myself. Literally, that was the way I approached the interview. And I did that with every interview I went to. I'm like, they're going to like me or they're not, right? And God was teaching me that along the way. He's like, if it's for you, I'll open the door. Be you. If it's not for you, I'm not going to open the door. So I didn't know, just like Rebecca didn't know what this man had prayed for, but she was exhibiting everything. She was simply being herself, which showed that she was a very giving person. She was simply being herself. I was simply being myself in that interview, not knowing what she was looking for. When all along, she was watching to see what type of personality I had in order to make her decision. She already knew my experience. She had reviewed my resume. The interview was literally for her to see what type of person I was. This was a divine recognition moment. She was already the one, and her natural actions revealed it. Y'all better catch this. Rebecca was already the chosen one. Her natural actions just confirmed it with Abraham's servant. She didn't have to alter herself. She was simply being who she was. And that's how she was identified as Isaac's wife, by being exactly who she was. Nothing more, nothing less. Anything more or less, that would have been a misconnection. God orchestrates divine connections. And when we walk in our true identity, the right people will recognize us as a part of his plan. So that's what I wanted to share, guys. It's the same thing with Eve. She didn't have to walk with God up to Adam and start explaining who she was. He looked up and said who she was. She didn't open her mouth. She just simply had to be. She just had to be. So I pray that this blesses who it's for. I got to get off here because I have a meeting in like 7 minutes. So I hope you guys have what? Y'all, I don't know what's happening right now. I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope this blesses who it's for. But don't allow there to be a misconnection because you're trying to be something that you're not. In this season, your natural state is a requirement. Your natural state is going to be the answer to someone's prayer. That's it. That's all. I love you and have a great day.